New main just dropped. What's up, gamers? Staxwell's back at it again today, and I want to give my impressions on Victor Goldmain. The high and mighty. Don't address Victor Goldmain and forget the high and mighty. You know what I mean? Uh, I think there's a lot that's not being said about the hero right now. I think he's, from a flavor perspective, pretty cool. Kind of like a Jaime Lannister type character, which I've always liked from Thrones. That's what he really reminds me of. So I like him flavor-wise, but I think there's a lot to talk about gameplay-wise as well. So without further ado, I do want to go ahead and jump into that. For those who don't know what he does, I hope you have read his ability while he's on the screen here, because I'm going to move on to the grindstone, the hammer. When he hits a hero, clash, and if you do win the clash, you destroy the top card of their deck. If they win the clash, this gets a -1, so it's really, really bad if they start winning clashes. But if you're winning the clashes, it plays into like this fatigue or mill strategy. But it's very beautifully balanced because you have to keep winning these clashes, right? And the cards that are good with these fatigue or mill kind of strategies are cards like Sink Below or Fate Foreseen, D-Reacts primarily. And those cards obviously aren't winning any clashes, right? So really beautifully balanced. I don't know if you're going to like maybe have to do this play style where you block first cycle and then second cycle you start swinging your hammer to try and get mills out of your opponent. Of course, first cycle you'll use all of your D-Reacts, so you won't have to worry about clashing with them. It's also possible that he wants to play this card just as like a side deck piece maybe. Against the decks you want to fatigue, it's just strictly a better hammer to fatigue with in most matchups, I guess. Like if you're trying to fatigue a Fi or something like that, for example. You'll be winning most of your clashes. Maybe there's a world you only swing with it if you have gold tokens and you could kind of manipulate this clash mechanic in your favor. I don't think it'll see too much play in other Guardians, but I think people will try it. That clash mechanic is just too unreliable in something like a Bravo. One other thing to note with this too is it's a one-handed hammer, which is really nice because, you know, obviously you could combine a shield with it, of which we don't know what kind of shield he has. He does look like he has the Rampart of the Ram's Head logo on him, so a lot of people are speculating into that shield. And the shield is also kind of like the same overall like shape or outline. And because of this, Rampart of the Ram's Head has been seeing a lot of movement on the market. We'll do a full market watch tomorrow and get into that. But it's gone up like $10 or $15. Cheapest copy on the market now is $60, whereas like a few days ago before his announcement, it was only $43 a copy sold for. So yeah, there has been some movement on this card. Another interesting thing with the grindstone here is there is a world, I know Guardians aren't really making agility tokens that frequently, but surely there will be some to be announced cards that are going to focus around the agility mechanic, and possibly, right, there's possibly some to be announced cards that could give Victor Goldmain some agility tokens. And if he can get consistent agility tokens, probably a meme strategy will be using 2 grindstones and using the agility tokens to give him go again. I think that would be a little bit silly, but probably a fun deck. So keep an eye out for like generic go again action. Another interesting thing with the hero in general is a lot of cards that we thought would just be good in every Guardian, oddly enough, aren't going to be good in him. Cards like Rouse the Ancients, it has 0 attack, it's not going to be winning you any clashes. Cards like Terra Sunder, these are like staple OG good Guardian cards. So it's very interesting to see LSS kind of wane those in and out. Stacked in your favor is kind of a cool, flavorful card as well. Kind of forces your opponent to take a turn off and take a setup turn or lose a bunch of value by attacking into your additional defending, like your additional defense cards, right? And taking a setup turn against Guardian isn't exactly something you want to do. I'm sure Victor Goldmain will still have like these Spinal Crush-esque abilities. And yeah, taking a turn off and getting hit with the Spinal Crush doesn't sound like the best thing ever. It also has the second line of text: at the start of your turn, destroy this, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your deck, which is interesting because it's almost like a guaranteed clash win, like you're setting up for a win on your clash mechanic. Golden Sun, like its activated effect, attacking with it as an additional cost to play this, you may destroy a gold token. If you do, get +3 in overpower. This is kind of uninteresting, right? This is just like a worse like Macho Grande or something like that. Yeah, I'm less excited to play this than I am Macho Grande. But when you win a clash revealing this, create a gold token, that line of text is actually crazy, especially if there's like generic block cards that are going to make you clash, and then you could create gold tokens on your opponent's turn Yeah, that could get silly real quick, I think. Speaking of creating gold tokens on your opponent's turn, Test of Strength seems like just a ridiculous card. When this defends clash with the attacking hero, the winner creates a gold token. So you're blocking for 4, creating a gold token, and drawing a card off of Victor's ability. This seems like kind of bonkers and probably an immediate staple 3 of in the deck, which is very cool because it's included in the TCG player promo bundle thing. Yeah, I'll do a whole video on that one too. I have a lot to say on that TCG player bundle. But yeah, Test of Strength seems like auto-include staple 3 of. That interaction is like what truly makes me happy to want to play the hero. Because if your opponent like blocks with 3 cards, like if you hit him with a Spinal, they block with 3 cards and throw like a Snatch at you. You activate this, full block the Snatch, get an extra card. Just seems stupid. Like, honestly, I'm so happy to see this too. It's good to see new heroes that I'm excited for their competitive viability. Hasn't been coming too frequently to us lately, has it? Starting Stake just makes a free gold token. Free gold token gets you a free draw. So Starting Stake is like a yellow block 3 that draws a card. Kind of insane. That'll probably be a 3 of in the deck as well. But see, cards like this, it's like you are excited and you want to play them, but they make the hammer so much worse. So it's like such a perfectly balanced tightrope that this man is walking with every card you choose to include in your deck. I mean, you could also just like not play this and play something like Anathos, or just play Titan's Fist and not even try to win these clashes specifically, and then maybe just win the clashes off of your regular cards. There could also be like a legendary weapon that clashes or something like that. So I wouldn't look at the grindstone and just accept that as like the end-all be-all only way to play him. But I think it is the most exciting way to play him. I don't mind if like Fatigue in itself is like a good deck or a good mechanic or a good strategy. But in the past, something like Oldhim, it just took so long to fatigue you. We would have 2 or 3 hour Oldhim mirrors that no one wanted to watch. At least this deck or decks like Arachne are like actively milling you and actively fatiguing you in a way that like speeds up the game, you know? So I would less mind if a fatigue deck like this was good over a fatigue deck that really just slowly strangled you out of the game, like Oldhim. Boast, the fact that Boast is even a card, this kind of implies you're going to be able to clash on your opponent's turn somewhat frequently, which is interesting. Maybe we'll get more test ofs, right? Maybe we'll get like a test of agility, test of vigor, something like that, and be able to consistently clash and turn on something like a Boast, which would be and turn on something like a Boast, maybe even turn it on twice, and allowing our blues to block for 7 or something like that would be a little bit crazy, but I think it'd be pretty good. Cards like Bigger Than Big and Pint of Strong and Stout, they just don't seem to make the cut for me. I could pair them next to a card like Terra Sunder, and Terra Sunder kind of just seems better in every way. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and help the algorithm help me out just a little bit. Later, gamers.